Hi, I'm Rakesh Samarasekara, and I'm here with Tom Marseille with WSP Parsons Brinckerhoff, one of our platinum members. Tom, thank you so much for being here.
Well, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
So, Greenbuild is all about sustainability and LEED. What does your company have to do with that?
Well, if you look back in time quite a bit, we were actually one of the founding members of the USGBC, and in fact, I think we were the only engineering firm that originally was a member of the USGBC. So from the standpoint of USGBC and LEED, it goes way back. As a company as a whole, it goes back even further. We were involved in energy efficiency retrofit projects way back in time with NYSERDA in New York. Some of the projects we did in the early 80s, you would consider innovative today, and they were certainly groundbreaking at the time. So we have a deep legacy of that. From the standpoint of LEED projects, I think we have over 300 that are now certified, so quite a number there, and of course at least as many now in the process because so many projects are now going LEED. So it really is part of our DNA, I guess you'd say.
That's fantastic. And so, if you think of all that you have done, your company, what would you say you're most proud of?
Oh, company. Well, that's a harder question because we are a very big company now.
I mean, sustainability related.
Yeah, no, I understand
Right.
that. I understand that. I'm gonna speak a little bit personally, if I can, about that
absolutely.
one. One of the things that we're seeing right now, which is really encouraging to me, is a focus on operational performance of buildings, not just was it designed to perform, but does it actually perform in practice? And so we're starting to see some projects now, and we've actually had a few that have gone through sort of this early proving period where they've actually shown that they've achieved high performance goals with respect to energy use and water in practice. In fact, they were actually part of the contract to do so. And I find that a very encouraging trend because I think if we're actually going to make a difference in the long term, we actually have to achieve performance. And we actually have to know what we're trying to achieve, and we have to measure it.
That makes a lot of sense. So, looking to the future, 2016 is fast approaching. We're pretty much there.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the sustainability initiatives you have planned?
Well, this is interesting because today, well, first let me step back. We became a much larger company in the last year. We almost doubled in size. We're over 30,000 people now globally. And we sort of were able to leverage and look at sort of the best practices across our firm, and such that we're now actually rolling out today internally in the US basically our global sustainability initiative. So there's actually a webinar that all the employees are watching today while I'm doing this interview, in fact, learning about what's going to be rolling out for our company as a whole. And so it's kind of a two-pronged strategy. We've got sort of a global approach to it that looks at sort of people, operations, and projects and various metrics associated with those. But we're looking at sort of what the best practices are that we can take and use everywhere with respect to transportation, with respect to other operational things. But at the same time, we think it's very important to consider sort of market responsive things as well. So we also look at what's happening in our region, what's happening in a state, what's happening at the city level where our offices are, and trying to match up well with those kinds of initiatives on the sustainable side. So it's kind of exciting, it's kind of interesting to see where it's all going to go because, again, we've brought in all these people in the last year and we want to see what's going to happen next.
It's going to be a big year.
Yeah, for sure.
So I talk to a lot of young people, and sustainability is not only a germane topic, but it's something they want to get involved in. They want to have a career in sustainability.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have to college students or young professionals who want to get involved?
Okay, well, first I want to say that relative to my generation, they're already turned on to sustainability. It's really part of their DNA more than it was my generation, and so they actually have the passion and the interest already. So I'm sure there's a lot of students that are interested in these careers. And what I usually tell them, actually what I encourage them to do, is to talk to people, to ask people like myself, people who maybe don't have a perspective from day one on it, but sort of have the experience of my years, if you will. And people like me, I try to be generous with my time, and I think a lot of people in the profession want to be generous with their time too. Whether it be an informational interview or mentoring or those kinds of things. I say ask. People will be willing to give you. They're actually flattered that you want to know about what they can give you in terms of advice. And so I say talk to people and just make yourself a network within the industry, and it's going to really go a long way.
That's fantastic advice. Mentorship and guidance is so important. So finally, what's the value that you find in being a USGBC member?
Well, we are platinum sponsors of USGBC, and so from that perspective, we have all kinds of opportunities and advantages to take advantage of. I wish we did more of them, actually. We could take advantage of so much you offer, but we have the resources. We actually have somebody assigned to our account specifically that's someone we can always go to if we have questions or to help expedite processes for us, including the LEED certification process. We have access to so many educational resources as well, online resources that are available to all of our employees. So that's all 30,000 of them if they're interested in doing it. And so we try to promote within our organization those kind of opportunities as well. So I think it's the resources that you give us. I mean, there's discounts too for every kind of a thing you can imagine as well. So, really, it's a really large amount of advantages, I'd say.
Well, thank you so much, Tom. This has been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.